Welcome to the Mound City Council. It's Tuesday, May 26th at 6. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have our agenda. We have one amendment for sure. We're going to move under 6C, or sorry, 6B, we're going to move to C. And then we're going to add B. Our Hennepin County Commissioners are both here. So we're going to put them as B under 6. You all good with that? Any other? Nothing? Okay.
No.
All right, so we got our agenda with that one change. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda with the changes.
Okay, got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, that passes. All right, then we got our consent agenda. Does someone want to go through that? Oh, sorry, public comment. I don't know if anybody's here that wants to come up, but if you do, come on up. You're not here? Okay, all right. So probably not.
We're all staring at you.
You're the only one that's.
He's just coming to observe a council meeting.
She's like keeping me on track.
All right.
Didn't make a plan after that.
All right, well, here none. We're going to move to consent agenda. Someone want to go through those?
I can do that. Consent agenda items A through H. A, minutes of the May 12th regular council meeting. B, check register for April 2026. C, pay request number 3 for $52,085.18 to Whitmer Construction for project PW 2502. D, approve resolution 2637 approving Surfside Park irrigation. E, approve resolution 2638 approving Spirit of the Lakes 5K. F, approve ordinance number 3, 2026, amending City Code Chapter 78. G, approve ordinance number 4-2026, amending City Code Chapter 121 pertaining to outlots. And H, approve resolution 2641 for 2026 crack repair project award.
All right, we got our consent agenda items. Does anybody want to talk about any of those? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Herrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Pugh,
Aye.
Councilmember Castellano,
Aye.
Mayor Holt.
Aye. All right, all that passes. All right, number 6, we got recognition of Orono Police Chief, or as it were yesterday. I don't know if you want to come up or you just want to say. We don't have to make a big deal about it.
We do.
But we do. Yeah.
Yes, we do. We should, yeah.
Well, I'll say something here. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything too, but thank you for the 30 years and as chief here, what, 19 years. From what I understand, you worked up from volunteer all the way to the chief. And then I guess as of today, we have our new chief, right?
Correct.
And you got 2 more days left.
Yes.
So, easy part now. I just want to say, just on my personal behalf, I remember the one time I got a call from you, and there's some issues with some violence down at the Capitol, and you called me, and we're concerned about me and my family, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's one thing to just have police chief, and you kind of fill in the role and just doing what you got to do, but to actually like reach out, as it turns into like a friendship over time. So I've been on the police commission meetings for 2 years now. That's been great. We talked about, I know one thing that actually went to the state this year, and you told me we should go to the state with this, bike helmets and the e-bikes, yeah, the go 80 miles an hour down Dakota Trail. We saw videos of it. But yeah, then that went to the state. That's what you said, said, hey, go, this is a state thing, this isn't a county thing, or, just a one department thing. But, yeah, you're always accessible. I've only known you for, 6 years, maybe, five and a half years, but I appreciate everything you've done for us. Good luck in
Thank
retirement.
you. It has truly been an honor to serve this community since 2013 when we joined forces and became your police department. It was, challenging to get all the intricacies of, taking on a new community, but it worked. I believe it worked well. We've been successful, and it's great being a part of this community, and it is an honor to serve the residents, to be a part of this. This was my second home. I spent more waking hours in our communities as police chief than I did in my own home, and I'm going to miss it because this is my second family. So I
Yeah.
appreciate the communities, you as mayor, council, for your support and that continued support. And yes, Chad Stensrud, our chief, started today, so he was sworn in this morning. So we have 3 days to sort of get him trained up and up to speed. And then it's a learning curve from there. We have great staff, Tony, our deputy chief, Tony
Yeah.
Withke, and our supervisors. He was with our office and department for 14 years prior
Yeah.
to, before he went to Robbinsdale for 4 years as a police captain. So he's returning with that knowledge. He's served the community already of Mound and other communities, so he knows more. It's just getting him up to speed. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Does anybody else want to say it?
No, just to thank you for your commitment to community service, which
Thank
I
you.
always appreciate, the fact that people who make those commitments to serve a community really are making a real life commitment as well as one to the community.
I appreciate it.
And wish
Thank
you
you.
the best in your retirement.
Thank you very
In the
much,
future.
Councilmember Pugh.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to add, but I did live here before and kind of during that whole transition period. And I mean, I just can't say enough good things about your police department, so thank you.
Thank you.
I will say the same thing as Mayor Holt did. I've only been on the police commission for a little over a year, and everything has been wonderful. I've enjoyed meeting you and your staff, and a big congratulations to you on your retirement.
Thank you very much.
Wishing you the best.
Thank you.
So
Thanks.
we do have one thing, and we want to get a picture with the whole council, if
Yes.
you're okay with it.
Yes, please.
So we'll come down and present it.
I will, don't worry. I'm just waiting for Sherry to come down. No, God, no.
Well, I'm hooked into my phone. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. There I go.
So this is block here for you, 30 years experience. Nice little one there. Appreciate that. Yeah.
That's all coordinated so well. Thank you. We're gonna switch it just a little bit. We're color coordinated. All right. 1, 2, 3. One, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Or enjoy it.
I'm gonna see that.
All right, now we got 6B, we got Hennepin County Commissioners. We got both of them, Edelson and Anderson. Appreciate you guys coming out.
Up to you. You'll have to move this up, though, I suppose,
How
probably.
many towns actually split commissioners? Are we
I have
lucky?
16.
Oh.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
But how many towns split?
Yeah, I have 2, sorry.
So,
oh, yeah, you're lucky.
sorry, Plymouth, Mound, Eden Prairie, and Minneapolis.
Well, that's right, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That have split.
We demand to.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
We have a lot of work for you.
It's a plus. Trust me, it's always a good one. Well, there's us. And and your staffer just got a picture of me with my hand on my hip, like, what are you talking about? It's my turn to talk. Just kidding. So it's good to see you guys. You only see us once a year, but we talk to you multiple times, right? And hopefully you see us a few more times. So I'll run through my present, and then I'll have Kevin come up here. Just a quick little fun thing, though. So county was established in 1852. State of Minnesota was established in just, what?
Oh, I thought you were
1850?
doing a guessing game.
It is a guessing game. Yeah, go.
1858?
Yes, give me a bravo. All right. So, all right, so 1852, and then the state was established in 1858. So counties were established before, well, at least Hennepin County was established before the state of Minnesota, which I find very interesting. So we have 45 cities. Kevin and I both each have 16 cities, so by far we have the most. So not to be competitive or anything, but we're the best. So we have 1.3 million residents in Hennepin County, 8 Fortune 500 companies, 100 plus lakes, with Lake Minnetonka, of course, being the largest, and 607 square miles and 11 watershed districts. And then we'll go to the next slide. This is just a fun thing we had our staff do. It just highlights all the incredible things Hennepin County does. I think last time when I did my first presentation, I was like, let me do a 45-minute presentation on all the different things we do, but I won't do that today. It's a lot. Always feel free to call me. But I mean, we do anything from licensing to your driver's license. And you'll see later that went up. Remember when we had the whole Real ID debacle? And so anyways, it's kind of interesting. It's like fees for service shot up with that. And you're like, well, we have public works, which I think a lot of people think of us when they think of county roads. Mary, you and I we're always connecting on that court services. We have waivers, and we'll go ahead and we're going to dive into some of the finances on the next slide. All right, so Hennepin County has the largest budget out of the state of Minnesota. So state of Minnesota, next biggest government in the state of Minnesota would be Hennepin County. We have a $3.15 billion revenue that we bring in our budget. And so you'll see the largest portion of that is property taxes. And state and federal government, we have a smattering of those. And then we have some other revenue sources, which you're going to get from licensing fees, things like that. Bond proceeds, bond proceeds. And those change every year. It's not always an exact science there. But with that, I have another chart later that will really help look at exactly where our revenue is and the expenditures, because I think oftentimes people are like, that's a lot of money, where's the money going to? So hopefully that's really what we're going to be able to dive into here today. So you can go ahead to the next slide now. So these are the expenditures. So these are the pie charts, and then I have charts after this. So expenditures by line of business, you'll see Health and Human Services is about 50% of our budget. And that's what people think about oftentimes outside of county roads is Health and Human Services, right? We're doing the waivers. When somebody needs Medicaid services, they're coming through us. They need economic supports. They're coming through us. So you think about child protection, another one. So operations and disparity reduction, what that department is we have housing in there. We also have just the operations of the county. It's all of our staff. And then capital improvements, the West Tonka Library, of course, which we're all very excited about. And then you have public works, which are roads, resident services, which are our library operations, law, safety, justice, which is the county attorney's office, the sheriff's department. We also do probation. A lot of people don't think about that. We have the Juvenile Justice Center, downtown Minneapolis. We also run the Adult Detention Center. What is it called, Kevin? It's not called the adult. Is it adult? Is it detention center? Okay, yeah. Yes, it's adult detention facility. That's what it is. Thank you. All right, and so we have that, and we'll keep going. And so these next slides, which I realized I needed my glasses for this, but small, but this is the revenue. And what I want to highlight on this is you'll see the property tax. This is the first one here. And with this chart, what I'm trying to show is I understand the revenue sources. What we're seeing is 2024 is the blue, 2025 is the light blue, and then the green is 2026. You'll see that trend, which is a trend we have to get ahead of right now, or we have to stop this at this point, is that we're relying more and more on property taxes. And that's not sustainable for residents. We know that. Kevin and I are very clear, and Kevin, you should tell them a little bit about some of the things that you requested, which I'm very supportive of too. but I'll just say it since he's right there and I'm on it. But Kevin made a request, which I think was, sorry, Commissioner Anderson made it. I'm informal, you guys. I like policy, but like the formality, some of it can be obnoxious.
Yeah.
So he made a request that any service, so about, I would say 70-ish% of what we do at Hennepin County is all mandated by the state and the federal government. But there are other things that we do that are not mandated. And so Kevin made the request saying, hey, you know what, why don't we look at everything that's a mandated service and what's not mandated so that we know, as we're in a very tight budget right now, like everybody else, we make sure that we understand what those decisions are. So that was a very good request that was made. And you'll see that fees for service. Hello, Real ID. You see it? It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over.
The big spike.
Yeah, big spike. Yeah, there goes Real ID. All right, so you'll see that these are the other revenue sources that we're getting. You'll see that the federal government, we've lost some of the revenue. It's a third over. And the state, it fluctuates. State's mandating a lot of things. They're not always, you know, it's funny when I was at the legislature, I was like, mandated, what did they call it? Unfunded mandate. And I was like, oh, you guys. But now I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. So next one, and this is expenditures for line of business. So this is where the money is going out. So you'll see health and human services. You see that big spike with health. But human services, health and human services are the bulk. And I will say the hospital has been an incredible challenge this year. You've heard the good news that we got the funding from the legislature. It's great. It's a help for now, but it's not 100% fix. And I am hoping the task force that we have will actually, with the state, will actually help figure out what we do, because we need that hospital to stay open. When people think, well, when I was young at least, and when I started thinking about like running for office, and I love government, the reality is it's not just roads and bridges that people care about. They don't only care about schools. They need health care. People need health care. If we do not have health care, we will have more homelessness. If we do not have health care, people will lose their jobs. We do not want a society that does not have options for people to get the care they need. Now, if this hospital was to close, it would have been very bad. Other hospitals would have been, they wouldn't have the capacity to care for them, and people would have been rejected for care. And what could we possibly do with that in the state of Minnesota? It would have been a very bad thing. But off to that, you'll see that our capital improvements will be going down this year because the economy's not great, right? We're not going to be building an addition when we can barely pay the mortgage. So we will be doing less building, and I think that is it for this one. And I think, Kevin, are you up now? Kevin's turn.
Property tax, yay.
Yeah. So, thank you. So this chart, and thank you to Commissioner Edelson for taking care of the presentation. I have been flying off the cuff this year, and so she's really helping keep me focused. Over the last few years, we've definitely noticed an increase in our reliance on property tax, in part because of decreasing state revenues coming into into the counties to pay for the mandated services. And also increases or decreases in federal revenue. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But in Mound, I think we saw just less than a 1% increase in the median home value increase, and the taxable value and taxable capacity in Mound increased by about 1%. So they were pretty even. We're seeing that in 2026, the assessor's report showed a much more even increase across the county. So tax capacity and tax values all kind of raised roughly the same across the county, which is kind of we saw that it was stabilizing, and that's good news for us. We still saw some bottoming out of the commercial in downtown Minneapolis, but that is starting to stabilize and hit I think what is probably the bottom of it. As we start seeing more redevelopment happening in Minneapolis, that's going to start increasing those values as those properties start turning over and we start seeing new development there. That is really going to benefit everybody in the county when that happens, because that cost balloon shift that happens as local governments are needing to fund their operations you know, our hammer, if you will, is property tax. We don't have a whole lot of other options for that. And if we need to pay our staff the negotiated rates, it is what it is. You know, we don't have a whole lot of flex in how that goes, other than to hold staff positions, which Hennepin County is doing pretty aggressively right now. I think we can move on to the next slide. This is last year as we were adopting our budget, we were looking at the impacts, the 2026 impacts of HR 1. HR 1 was the big beautiful bill, and the impacts to counties specifically, and Hennepin County specifically, was a cut to the SNAP, the food assistance given to low-income residents, and terminated grants for housing primarily. That had an impact of about almost $11 million to Hennepin County that we had to absorb in some ways. For context, you know, you saw our budget was $3 billion. $1 billion of that is through property taxes. So $10 million equals about 1% of our levy. So when we start talking about a cut of federal money for $10 million, that means we're either we're mandated to provide food security for our residents. The responsibility didn't change on that, but we now have to absorb that cost. That's about not quite a full percent of shifting that burden onto property taxes for us. If you go on to the next slide here, you'll see that we have in 2027, what we're planning for is an increase due to that bill. So SNAP, we're going to see about a $20 million shift in responsibility. Housing security through housing and urban development is about $12 million. Medicaid is a big question mark for us. We did a lot of reimbursement in our human services through Medicaid. Medicaid was the primary component that the federal government cut. They cut about, what was it, $1 trillion? I forget the numbers, but it was big. And in Minnesota, it's going to have a pretty substantial dollar amount that we haven't fully calculated, because most of those cuts are reimbursement rates for services that are provided, either through people who are enrolled in like Medicaid services, insurance reimbursement. Most of the people receiving Medicaid services are seniors, and so seniors and people with disabilities. Hopefully they are going to be the least impacted by the changes made in that big beautiful bill, but we still don't know exactly the extent that that's going to roll down to us. But you can see, even with the known numbers, that's a 3.5% shift of costs onto our property tax dollars. We can move on to the next slide. Hennepin County Medical Center. You've probably heard so much about this, and Commissioner Ellison already addressed this. Yay! We got funding and stability for a few years here. As Commissioner Ellison also mentioned, the work's not done. There's a task force that's going to be appointed by the governor to examine governance, fee structure. The problems facing HCMC are not unique to HCMC, but they are probably worse for HCMC than for any other hospital in the state of Minnesota, because of the proportion of our residents who receive Medicaid services. And those services are, as we talked about in the last slide, are the ones being cut, and people least able to pay for those medical services. And we see them coming from across the state. So I think about 40% of the trauma patients who get brought into HCMC are from outside of Hennepin County, from other hospital systems, from, I think I saw a report, 86 of the 87 counties sent patients to HCMC in 2025. So this isn't a Hennepin only issue. This impacts everybody, except apparently Monoman County. But
And then I just want to just make a point about Hennepin County Medical Center is with what Commissioner Anderson was talking about is we have about $40 million that we pay to HCMC right now. And so that's 4 levy points that we are on property taxes that we, so that we're getting to support HCMC. Now, of course, we believe in having it. I think I made my argument as to why. But one of the things that I will just say is we dissolved the hospital board in August. You'll see there as the timeline. One of the things that I've been saying, and Kevin, I think you agree, is that it's not good to have elected people, politicians, running a hospital. It's just not. And so I've said this at every single one of my board meetings that I've gone to, or every one of my city council updates, and I just want to make sure that I'm telling you that this is what I'm advocating for, because I think what happens, there's not, at least in the state of Minnesota, we're the only ones that have elected officials that are helping. Right now, it's just 7 of us making decisions about the hospital. Now, we all want the hospital to survive, and so I think that's a consensus. But with this task force, what I do hope happens is that we build a hospital district. Now, there's hospital districts in Denver, say, or others, there's a few other ones that I can't remember the names of right away. But having a system where we protect it and that Hennepin County gives a set dollar amount to be able to sustain the center, but also that the state will be contributing to other hospitals, because like say North Memorial in Sanford with the acquisition of North Memorial, who knows what will happen there. There's other rural hospitals that are also struggling. So figuring out if we can have a hospital district is something that I really am pushing for in these meetings, because it's not going to be sustainable for us to rely on property taxpayers to support a health system. It's just not. That's where the state is going to have to come in. And so we've done this for years. I don't think it's sustainable. If you look at what's happening with the economy, I don't know if you guys saw 60 Minutes on yesterday, but they were talking about the economy and the similarities to the 1929 and the financial crisis. We have a stock market that's going up. You have people who are struggling to pay their day-to-day expenses, and you can't have property taxes go up and to sustain, excuse me, I can't say that word, a healthcare system. So we have to figure that out. That's really, truly my hope when you're thinking about this, that we reduce the property tax liability that we have, but we do not damage the system. So I just wanted to add that. I apologize, and I'll let you go.
great, thank you.
Sorry.
And, you know, there's, over the next year, part of the legislation was we are going to be returning the hospital to a professional board by January. So our work over the next 6 months here is to make sure that we find and recruit a professional board that can take control of the hospital and manage it efficiently and effectively and responsibly. I don't want us to be in a position in a year, 2 years, 3 years where the hospital doesn't have the resources and is coming to the county first, or is not making their budget and running a deficit and turning to us first for to make up that shortfall. We need people, we need professionals at the helm who can take control of it and run it efficiently. So we can continue on here. As you may be aware, there's an election coming up this year. We are working on, we've established $9,000 because for each municipality, because there was new early voting laws that go into effect for this election, that we knew was a hardship, especially for smaller municipalities like Mound. Our goal in this was to offset at least a position of the cost that's being saddled on your municipality. We're looking, I've had conversations with our election administration team to look at other ways we can potentially offset or regionalize some of the early voting in future years. We just didn't have the capacity to do it this year. So More conversations to come on that. We can continue on. Some of the highlights that we had over this last year, the Youth Crisis Stabilization Center. We opened that not December of this year, but December of last year. And it is a new facility designed at stabilizing youth experiencing mental health crises. We recognize that there was a severe shortage of facilities and beds to provide this kind of care in Minnesota, and specifically in Hennepin County in this region. Our goal in doing this is to provide a space for youth to come in, receive intensive care, become stabilized, ideally become stabilized within a shortish period of time, 30 to 60 days, and be able to go back home. And this alleviates some of the need for providing care in a jail setting or a youth juvenile detention facility that often has a very short window of opportunity to provide care. This helped address a really severe need in that ecosystem. We got this up and going. I think we authorized the spending in the budget for 2024, and we had it completed a year later. There was a amazing turnaround by our staff to be able to stand up this facility and open it up for utilization at the end of last year. We can keep going. We also opened up a new public safety headquarters in Plymouth. This is a little bit more centralized for our sheriff's department. It's a modern building. It has all of the capacity for the sheriff's patrol and kind of all the equipment that the sheriff's office holds. It's on the same campus that our 911 center in Plymouth is. It's with the adult detention facility just down the road. So it really is centralized, and that is now kind of our law enforcement complex, if you will. It's right off of County Road 6 in Shenandoah in Plymouth. It's a beautiful facility. If you have a chance, I'm sure the sheriff would love to show you around. But it's got kind of the capacity to make sure that they can occupy that space responsibly, safely, and because it's more centrally located, get to responding to emergency calls as they receive them easier throughout the entire county. So we also have, as you know, the West Tonka Library. It is coming along really nice. Like I drove by it on the way here. Very exciting. The building, the shell should be done by the end of this year. All of the other components, the inside stuff should be done early next year. I don't have a specific date, but as soon as we do have a specific date, we'll be sharing it with you and inviting you to that. It's been kind of fun. Thank you for coming to the groundbreaking. And like, it's always exciting to see a project being talked about in the community, receive community input, see the groundbreaking, and now being so close to seeing the finished product. Very exciting. We have a few minor infrastructure projects, pavement preservation, multi-use trail projects, and roadway reconstruction. Sunset Drive is by far the biggest project that's happening of these right here. Anytime you have a reconstruction, that's where we're actually taking up all of the infrastructure and laying out new stuff. So it gives us an opportunity to rebuild and rethink how that space is utilized. We obviously, we've been to a few of the improvements that we've done, kind of spot improvements, trail crossings, flashers. There's always going to be more improvements to be made, and really appreciate the partnership that we've had with the city to identify those areas and work through them. I think we are Any projects that we have capital projects on our map on the website. We recently did change our website. It's now hennepincounty.gov. So if you type in the old address, it'll still take you there. But we publish that so you can see what the status is of each project that we're doing, including some of the operational work that we're doing. And I think the last slide is questions and discussion. So happy to answer anything that you might have.
Does council have any questions?
I had one, I can't remember it.
She had one, but she can't remember. I have 3 comments or questions. One is, well, first of all, thank you. I know I came to your mayor lunch thing that you did. We talked about the elections, and we talked about that it's expensive for our staff, especially in a presidential election. It was brutal on the staff. So is that $9 grand going this year? Right?
Yep.
So yeah, we appreciate that a lot, really do. We just talked, I know the state passed some different changes, and we're gonna work with our clerk to figure out what he wants to do, but we appreciate the 9, very helpful. And it's, again, good to see that when we talk about something, it actually happens, so, thank you.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I saw you guys money for water, no? Oh, you
No.
didn't?
Just
Oh,
stay,
no.
if you want to stay around after this.
Oh, no,
you
I
can-
saw Representative Myers posted, and I was like, I need to pull this up. Oh,
No.
no. Okay,
Wrong
bummer.
city. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not
okay.
happy.
Sorry about that.
Okay, the other thing, the trail crossing, I know we've been, talking about that as well. Thank you for thinking about us. I know we already got the first one done, second one's working. I know we're gonna do it this summer. We've been talking about this via email, I know, but the flashers, I mean, we need flashers eventually. So I don't know if you need to hear from more than just a few of us, but the other flashers on the other one are great. I just heard, this is from one of our family friends, but someone got hit going across this one that we're talking about, the second one, right by the Dakota Junction, or what it used to be called, Dakota Junction. So it is one thing to have the pork chop in the middle and whatever, but it's another thing to like actually alert people, hey, stop, there's someone going through here. So whatever you can do for I know we went back and forth and you said it's not gonna happen, but somehow you can make it happen, it'd be amazing.
I'll follow up with that,
Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you for telling me.
And then last thing, I don't know, Jesse's gonna pull up our map here, but we have your county road going through Mound around Black Lake. And so what happens is we have a lot of fishermen and women that fish right there.
Yeah.
So you can see that truck parked, right? So this strip about from the left side here to a little past the truck is actually parking. You can park there. So it really promotes people, and you can see these fishermen, there's 2 right there, right? And then they fish on the bridge. It says don't fish on the bridge, and they still do it. It says don't park, in certain areas. Now, they don't park where you're not supposed to park typically, but they do park, there's 2 sides they do park on. So we would love for you guys to help us just do no parking that whole strip, and then we can start enforcing it, because you can't enforce it if it's legal to park there. The funny thing is too, we also put a porta potty out for them too, so.
We did?
Someone does, I don't know, but I don't know who does it. There's a porta
So
potty
it's
there
like
for
we're
years.
encouraging
We're encouraging the fishing.
Okay.
It's, someone's
Such a
gonna get
tight
smoked by a
space.
car. Every time you drive by there in the summer, I mean, I get it, it's a great fishing spot, but you gotta get on a boat. I mean, you can't be fishing there. I think, maybe I'm speaking out of church, but I think we all agree that, we've talked about, well, could we put a pier there or something, but you can't, because there's no parking. There's just no, we have a pier on the other side of the lake, and it's a great pier, and we have plenty of room, and you can fish all over the place.
Right.
But this is, I don't know, Ryan, if it's 30, 50 feet, 100 feet of parking that you can park there, something like that.
100 feet of parking.
100 feet.
Yeah.
You get
Signs currently in between the signs you can park.
Yeah. So we want to just, no parking, sorry, and then we're going to start enforcing it, if you let
I
us
think
do it.
we can
Look
work
into
with
it.
that.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with Public Works about ways we can change our parking rules along county roads.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of it is working with local municipalities
Yeah.
to identify those areas. Because some places really want to keep their parking, some areas don't.
Yes.
I would much prefer to have as much of our county roads that are really arterials, right, to be no parking areas.
Yeah.
But it's not feasible for every stretch, and we need to work locally. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and maybe it's too, just, we can maybe talk about, thinking about some signage too, about where to direct people to better places to
100%,
fish
yeah.
too. Because, I mean, not everybody has a boat, right? So we want to make sure that, I
Right.
mean, they can come to North Arm, or there's many other places. So, yeah, let us look into that, Mayor, and then we
Yeah,
can
appreciate
circle
it.
back with all
And
of you.
we can make a sign. We know, we have a sign maker, so. I just talked to Jesse today, I'm like, can't we just put you can't fish, because it's, I mean, I don't know where your property ends, maybe it's the whole strip there, but, you know, it's like, once we get out on the grass, or like in the sand, or, you know, right before you get into the water, I'm like, can we just stick it, well, this is Mound now. You can't
Not sure
be
what the
here,
rules are
so.
on that.
Again, we
Yeah.
love people, we love fishing, come to our town, do it in the right spot, don't get
Right.
hit by a car.
Right.
And ice fishing in the winter, you can just drive your car out there anyway, that's what they do, so. They can,
Fair
if they
enough.
feel safe, if they feel like that's safe, they go for it, but in the summer, we don't want them getting hit by cars, so.
No, we don't, we
We get a
definitely
lot of
don't
com-
want them hit by cars.
we get a lot of
I
complaints.
agree,
Where-
yeah.
That's the spot where every winter there's like, someone drove out there and went through the ice.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they go through the
That area
ice, oh, no.
in particular, it's like when
Oh,
people
okay,
park
you gotta
and-
go. He's got
Well, I
another city
appreciate it.
council
That's all we had.
presentation.
That's all we
Okay,
had.
okay.
I'm gonna leave Commissioner Edelson here to answer any more of your questions. If you have any more for me, feel free to reach out to me, email, and I'll be happy to respond to. So
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much,
All right.
and keep up the great work.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. We'll send an email.
Send an
follow-up.
email, yeah.
Jesse can send one, and then.
And
just-
then, Jesse, did you get notified about the 9,000? Was it 8 or 9? Sorry, it's been a long day, you guys. 9.
Already applied.
Oh, good, yes!
We're on it.
Mound's on top of it. It's good to hear.
Well, again, thank you for all
Yeah.
your hard work and everything you do. It's good to, feel that you guys listen to us. so
Oh,
we appreciate
100%.
it.
Yeah, thank you for the ideas. The feedback
Yeah.
was very helpful, and then we did take that and went and talked about it. And then, Councilmember Pugh, you had called about, making some trails, and hopefully you guys, Jesse, you guys are working on other ways that we can support trails. I just, again, appreciate that call too. If there's ever ideas that you have, I always want to be, I'm here for a reason, right? I don't want to just twiddle my thumbs. I'm like a
Right.
doer.
Yeah.
So, fine, give me stuff to do. I want to make sure all our cities get stuff. So, and we'll look into those flashers again. Thanks for letting me
Yeah.
know about that.
Flashers and no parking signs. Then we're
Flashers, no
happy.
parking signs, and then you've already applied for that. So let's just make sure we have an email tomorrow so I can
Yeah.
circle back.
You'll- Copy me on it, too.
It's great to see all your faces.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the work you guys do. I really appreciate
you.
you.
All right.
You can see Kevin and I have a different style. I talk super fast. He's much chiller.
Yeah. It's good
All right,
balance.
see you guys later.
See ya, thanks. All right. So that was B, so now we got C. I'm just gonna kick it off quick. Water treatment plant funding update. Just like last time, I'm desperate and I'm texting and calling, and I sent out 30, I think it was 35 emails, whatever the math is, on everybody on the Capital Investment Committee on the House and the Senate side. Layla came up with an amazing graphic for us, please support Mound and our funding and this and that. Obviously it didn't work, but we tried. What happened in the end was the chair of the Senate, Senator Pappas, which is funny because we've actually sat in a meeting with her and our old city manager, the three of us sat down, and at the time, Senator Morrison. So she knows about our issue, and she knows that we needed help, and it's pretty disappointing that that didn't get heard, with all the different asks that we have. We have manganese and can't drink our water, but I guess other people get funding over us, so good for the people that got it, but we didn't get anything, so I know we're gonna talk about funding update. We're gonna talk about like next steps and what is our, kind of our timeline for all this stuff, because we want to get going and we want to keep this ball rolling. So if it's going to be on us, we got to figure out how we're going to do it. We already did the discussion on some of the funding stuff last time, but again, I texted multiple times our senator and our rep. I even texted Morrison, I thought she would have changed her phone number by now, but she
No,
still had
she
the same
says
cell,
that.
so that's good. She said, I'm on it. Again, you know, you can't always get a miracle, but anyway, we didn't, it's not that we didn't try, we tried very hard, so. Anyway, thank you.
Make it the stretch this far. All right, well, thank you, Mayor, members of the council, Mayor Holt. That was a good, tee up to this presentation. As the mayor mentioned, we want to give just a brief update on where things stand. We had that presentation in April, which was really focused on the utility rate study, but want to kind of fold that into holistically where that fits amongst the water treatment plant construction and design. So as the mayor mentioned, in April 28th, if people want to go back and watch that presentation, that's a pretty comprehensive look at what it would look like for the city to fund the water treatment plant by itself. Ahead of that meeting, the city's consultant, Ellers, and staff made the decision to, alongside the financial committee, to show that without any additional commitment from the state, just because we weren't even sure if there would be any bonding bill, and so we were very conservative in discussing what it might look like to fund a water treatment plant and what our financial management plan would look like without any additional dollars. So this is an arrow from that slide, those slides that we showed in April. June 2026 said state bonding if awarded. I've changed that to not awarded. We did not receive any funding. That's not to say that the city hasn't made a lot of effort and progress in getting funding. We've received almost $13 million to date from state and federal sources. So on this project, it's not nothing. There's been a lot of great work from this council and past councils to really make our federal government and our state leaders aware of our issue here. Looking ahead, we're looking at about an August approval of the financial management plan and utility rate study with that water treatment scenario. So again, as we said in April, that was really a preliminary conversation that we'd have a little bit more understanding of what that might look like later this summer. Also later this summer, we'll have final water treatment plant designs, which will be ready for permitting by the Minnesota Department of Health and then can be sent out for bid. And then by fall of 2026, we're looking at having those permits approved as well as a final council approval should you move forward with a water treatment plant. So I'm going to dig into each of these a little bit more, and then I can answer any questions that you might have. So I'd like to start out any conversation about water is why are we doing this? We are doing this because our mound water is completely untreated, and it causes quite a few problems. And I manage the city's social media, so I've taken the brunt of it a little bit this weekend as we've had some disruption in flows. And when we disrupt the flows, because we don't treat our water, people end up with brown water. So I've gotten a lot of complaints of residents who wanted to wash laundry or bathe their kids or think that someone didn't flush their toilet because our water is quite brown. And so from a drinkable standpoint, it is drinkable, it's safe. There are some guidelines for infants and older people around the manganese in the water. But most people complain about the color of our water, which comes from iron and other contaminants. That color, again, is safe, but would be treated should we have a water treatment plant. And so because we have older pipes, because we don't treat that water, what happens is that the water flow, if it's disrupted at all, whether that's from a water main break or from construction, that gets stirred up in the water and people see it in their homes. People see it generally in their homes even when they don't have those construction impacts, just because we don't treat our water, so we're not taking out those contaminants. What that does, when we invest in a water treatment plant is help save taxpayers on in-home solutions. So a lot of people are buying bottled water. They have expensive, whether that's reverse osmosis or solutions in home to help try to lessen the impacts of our water, but it also damages our infrastructure over time. It is a cost to us to have untreated water because it isn't good for our pipes or our infrastructure. We're more susceptible to breaks and other issues within our infrastructure. So I always like to set the scene of like, why are we doing this? It's not just because we think a water treatment plant would be fun. There are a lot of really positive impacts for residents. So this is really the initial drawing of what a water treatment plant would look like. For most residents who are in the Sorbo Park neighborhood, they're starting to see what that looks like for some preparation for water treatment infrastructure. We needed to do a project this summer to ensure that we were ready, that pipes were upsized, and that the water tower was ready to support a water treatment plant should we move forward with that. We did get about, again, $12.8 million from state and federal sources that have helped support that first project, as well as the design of this water treatment facility that you see in front of you. We're at about 80% design and expect that by the end of summer, this is ready to go out again for permitting and for bids. Those can happen concurrently, so we can design it, have it go out to MDH to be approved, so the Department of Health does have to approve it. And then we can also go out for bids to get a final cost estimate on it. Again, you will do this in a two-phase process. You will first approve the ability for staff to seek bids on the project, and then it will come back a second time when you've received bids to determine whether or not if you will accept those bids. So that is something I always like to remind councils is when we do these really big projects, you get two opportunities to say yes or no to that. If you don't like your bids and they come in, significantly higher than you were expecting, you're not obligated to accept those bids just because you've gone out for them. I want to pause here in case we have any questions on the design and bid process of where we're at.
Council have any questions? No.
Great. So the next part of this is how do we pay for it? Should we move forward with it again? We did present that state bonding no funding scenario on April 28th. So if anyone is watching tonight and would like to see in depth what that looks like, I really encourage you to watch that video on YouTube. We do believe that with a modest increase in franchise fees and utility water rates that we can support the construction of a water treatment plant. We've done a lot of extensive work on a financial management plan and a utility rate study that shows that water bills for the average user need to go up about $2 a month to support this. And so, it's a very large price tag. We're looking at a $42 million project. But for most people, again, who are utilizing those in-home water solutions, whether it's buying salt or buying bottled water, that $2 increase on your water bill is going to be cheaper than, buying water as long as you live here in Mound. You will, again, make that final decision on the utility rate study in August. That is really a preliminary approval, so the final fee schedule won't be approved until closer to the end of the year. But what you will do in August is give staff that direction on what utility rates should be set at in 2027 within that fee schedule. So again, I'll pause if anyone has questions about the utility rate study or the FMP.
Does council have any questions?
No, not yet.
All right.
Great. So the last thing I want to talk about is communications. Given that we are, moving forward with having a conversation about what it looks like to fund this on our own, which is a change in conversation that we've been having before, we're going to make a strong effort to make sure that residents understand the impacts and costs of a water treatment plant. So I spoke with Mayor Holt last week about doing a video from the mayor that kind of addresses the points that I'm addressing tonight. We are going to put together a one-page handout in early summer for you all that you can hand out if you're out at National Night Out, or we're going to do some pop-up events as staff at at Spirit of the Lakes or at the Farmers Market that kind of in a one-page format sort of show what that financial impact is going to look like. We do have some cost savings from the reduction in the size of the Mound Compass that comes out every quarter. And so we're going to use that cost savings to do a special water edition this summer. So it'll be 4 pages, just like an open and shut, that will be exclusively on water ahead of a typical Mound Compass, just so that folks have a good sense of what this looks like, and they have all of the key dates and information, and that goes directly to people's homes. And finally, we're going to continue to have updates on social media and the city's website. I really encourage the council, if you haven't taken the time to look through comments on literally anytime I post almost anything, there's a lot of really good comments. I think a lot of really supportive comments of this. I saw a comment the other day that was like, we don't care what it costs, please just fix our water. We want to be able to wash our clothes. We want to be able to have consistently clear water in our water. So, I think that we're going to be thinking about some really creative ways that we can have some community feedback so that you feel like you've heard from everyone and that you can make a really informed decision near the end of the summer, and give residents that opportunity to give that feedback, whether that's positive or negative on this plant. So this is my last slide. If anyone has any questions on this, I can also go back to the slide on the timeline if that's helpful.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions, more of a comment that I think we're kind of like all on the same page anyway, but it's like, kind of depends on the process of events too, but I thought it's important that we communicate, like, if the water treatment plant happens, what percentage, because, if people say, well, I don't want the water treatment plant, my water bill's gonna go up, and it's like, we talked about in the previous meeting, our presentation, that it is going up just because, for part of our long-term financial plan, and a small percent of it actually was just the water treatment plant. So I don't know, I don't know if we can over-communicate that, because, it's like no matter how many times you say it or how big you make the sign, but I feel like that might be important too, kind of throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, Councilmember Castellano, Mayor, members of the council, I think that's a really good point, that water rates are going to rise no matter what you do. Should you build a water treatment plant or not, for our city's funds to be positive in water and sewer, utility rates have to increase. And that's been a really big passion project of this council, is making sure that the city is in a really strong cash position and not negative in funds and not bonding on projects. So what we have done in the utility rate study, and again, I really encourage, if a resident is watching this later, or if you're having conversations with residents and they want a breakdown on what this would look like, even if we didn't build a water treatment plant, to watch that meeting on the 28th, and so that we can, they can understand there will be an increase regardless of if we do a water treatment plant or not. And so, how much are residents willing to spend if it's going to be increased anyways to have that water treatment plant. And I think we got good feedback at that meeting to make sure that in all user classes, we have a clear understanding of what that increase is going to be, as well as helping residents understand in what water class they are in. So helping them navigate their utility bill and understanding, okay, I am a 13,000 gallon user, I'm only a 5,000 gallon user, and so my increase is going to be, $1, or it's going to be $4.
That's all I got.
So with the water treatment plant, what are the expectations of residents? They say, okay, we're gonna take this increase, we're gonna get a water treatment plant. Is my water going to be totally clear? Is it still going to be brown? Or, what are the expectations we should set for residents with the water treatment, besides the cost issue? Just the,
Well, first of all, it's gonna take time,
yeah.
and then second of all, Ryan.
Mayor, members of the council, so I'm glad you brought this up, because I've talked with the health department and they've gone through this process with other communities. It takes a year to a year and a half to clear out all of that, iron that's built up throughout the system. We have many miles of pipes out there, and flushing once or twice a year is not gonna clean that out instantaneously.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while. So once we are up and running, we're looking to at least a year, if not a year and a half, until we get it to that point where we've flushed everything out of the system and we're not looking at that brown water.
Can we make a cartoon or something that says that?
We'll say that.
We have talked
Because
many
that would be an
times.
expectation. People think it should be instant.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not gonna be instant, there's gonna be a
Right.
process, and we've been talking about that for a long time, that we're gonna have to communicate that heavily, because
Yeah.
I know everybody's gonna say, well, you flip the switch, why isn't it perfect?
Right.
It's gonna take time, and every community that has done a new treatment plant goes through this, but it slowly will get better day by day as, as we get it up and running.
We'll put that in the special water newsletter too.
Yeah,
Of
I
like
think that's really
what to
important. because,
expect.
There's the expectation of increased payment,
Mhm.
but then it's the expectation of what's my water gonna be like?
Yeah.
So also, a timeline on when to expect that increase in your bill? Will it start before we produce water, or will it be after the building's completed? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, Councilmember Herrick, that's a great question. Mayor, members of the council, the question is, will people see an increase in their water rates or bill before the water treatment plant is online? And the answer to that is yes. We do need that capital from the utility rate study increase to help us start to pay the debt service and to pay the work that will go into building the water treatment plant. So what people could expect is a water rate increase, and again, this will be regardless of a water treatment plant or not, in 2027. We did project that in this fall, in fall 2025, that for the next several years, we will see those water rate increases. But that will happen in 2027, and then we would likely not have a water treatment plant online for about 18 months. So there will still be a little bit of a lag, and that additional water payment will help us, again, secure the capital to help pay the debt service on the water treatment plant.
Anything else? Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, number 7, we got public hearings, and we're gonna lump these all 3 together. Rita's gonna come up and talk about all 3 of them, A, B, and C.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Rita Trapp, City Planning Consultant. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about all 3 of these at the same time. Hopefully these are things that you're familiar with. They were topics of discussion when we had our joint meeting with the Planning Commission earlier this year. The requests before you are to amend, all 3 are to amend the zoning code just for 3 different topic areas. The first one is relative to clarifying setback regulations for corner lots. For those of you that were there, I think most of you were on the council at that time. Maybe a year and a half ago, we had a series of planning cases that had a lot of confusion about corner lots and how we apply those standards in terms of setbacks. And so the Planning Commission and staff did spend some time studying how the regulations are organized and are proposing clarifications that hopefully make it easier to understand. There are no actual changes to the numbers, so the Planning Commission did review that and felt the setbacks were appropriate. It was just how they were applied was relatively confusing because we had some setbacks that were applied based on lot width and some that were based on lot depth, and so we tried to clarify which one applies, and it was one of those things that was fairly confusing. One addition is that we now have what's called a street side lot line to really clarify whether or not it's an interior street or interior side lot line, so between 2 lots, or if it's next to a street. And that helps us to clarify when larger setbacks apply. The original intent of corner lot setbacks is just to make sure that we have accessory buildings or other structures that are set back farther from the street if they are corner yards. So we do have the site visibility, and we do have it similar to properties that maybe have their front yard. So the changes that were included, again, are more for clarity purposes, and they are not intended to change the nature of what you had in the code, just make it easier for all of us to follow. I guess one addition that the Planning Commission did do that I should recognize is we do have the ability as staff administratively to decide which is the front yard for putting together what is the front setback and what is the side setback. And the Planning Commission wanted to extend that to any time there's a corner lot. Previously, the code said that at the time that it was equal, that the property owner could identify it, and Planning Commission felt it was more comfortable having staff identify what would be the front and then have that be written down administratively so that we could always apply it consistently going forward. So that's something that matches what we were doing in other cases. Moving on from that, the next section is the humane pet store regulations. That was a topic that was brought up for the first time at the joint Planning Commission and City Council meeting as the result of a request from a resident, I think, that to certain city council members. So we gathered precedent regulations from around Minnesota. Generally, we found that they were all very similar. And so we worked through with the Planning Commission those regulations, and what's before you reflects that. Generally, what the regulations do is it sets forth the idea that a pet store may not have cats and dogs overnight on an ongoing basis, but rather that they would use sales in conjunction with a humane society or some type of an event from a shelter, and that's when they would have some type of adoption sale. There is a little bit of a provision to allow cats to be kept overnight, not for an extended period of time, and the difference between cats and dogs obviously is how you take care of those animals is a little bit more confined for a cat versus a dog. These provisions are intended to go in the code, in the zoning code, and they will be in an area for specifically pet stores, kind of where our other use-specific standards are. Otherwise, the only other change that we had to make in order to better reflect this is to make sure that our pet and veterinary services separated out the sale of animals and grooming services from a vet, because those are two different things. So we made some adjustments just to account for that. Otherwise, the definitions and the code language is generally what you find if you would look at the examples. There's about 15 other cities in the state of Minnesota that have this regulation, and so this is following what they had. And then the last one that's in front of you this evening is just a small one related to accessible parking areas. This is related to something that we identified as part of the West Tonka Library project. We identified that our code was not actually reflective of how the building code has changed. And so this modification would just adjust our parking stall size and add an accessible aisle between the stalls. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that's kind of how parking stalls are structured these days. They're not necessarily bigger and longer. It's more about having that striped area in between, so if you have a wheelchair, you can get someone in and out. So this just reflects updating our code to reflect that part of it. Those are the three sections that we have. I do want to note something unique that we need to just make sure you're aware of. With ordinances, if they are long, we do have the ability through a resolution to authorize publication of a summary of that with title. The only reason I bring it up is that you need to have 4 of you vote in the affirmative for the resolution about that. But we just need a simple majority of 3 to adopt any of these. So it's always a little bit interesting when we have to do the resolution. And they are organized in your motions to approve the ordinance and then the resolution. For the 3 that are long, the parking stall one is fairly short, so the city would just publish that as it's written. If there's questions about that, I can answer it, but I just want to flag that. And then these are public hearings tonight, so technically you should open and close a public hearing and accept any public comment that there may be about these. But I can answer any questions if there are any.
Does council have any questions? All right.
All right.
All right, so on A, approve ordinance number 5, 2026, and resolution number 26-39, amending chapter 129, corner lot setbacks. I'm going to open a public hearing for that. All right, if anybody wants to come up? There's nobody here? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing for that. And then does someone want to make a motion for that?
Yeah, I can do that. I really liked the separate agenda and motion sheet. Are we still doing that?
Yes,
Okay.
Mayor, members of the council, unfortunately Kevin was out today, so that can be done, my apologies.
Just checking.
Yes.
Like that it just tells me it's like the Anchorman thing, what I don't need to read. All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 05-2026 and resolution 26-39, amending chapter 129, corner lot setbacks.
All right, got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that passed unanimously. B, we're going to go approve ordinance numbers 6, 2026, and resolution number 2640, amending chapter 129, human pet store. Is it humane or human? Humane pet store regulations. All right, now I'm going to open a public hearing on that. If anybody wants to come up, talk about that one. Hearing none, I'm going to close that. And can I get a motion for this one?
Sure. I make a motion to approve ordinance 06-2026 and resolution 2640, amending chapter 129, humane pet store regulations.
I got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
I got a second, any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that's unanimous. C, we're gonna go approve ordinance number 7 of 2026, amending chapter 129, design standards for parking stalls. I'm gonna open a public hearing for that. Anybody wanna come up and talk about it? Hearing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing for that. So can I get a motion for that one?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 07-2026, amending chapter 129, design standards for parking stalls.
All right, got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that passes unanimously too.
Now we need number 2.
Okay. All right, I'm out of order. All right, number
That's
two,
okay.
number 2, approve resolution number 2639, authorizing publication by title and summary pursuant to Minnesota statute 412.191, subsection 4 of an ordinance clarifying setback regulations for corner lots in Mound City Chapter 129 zoning.
Is that right?
I just had a question. So that was in the motion that
Oh, was that?
Kevin, Councilmember Castellano made that as part of the motion. We haven't typically done that, but he did do it tonight, so you can, as the attorney, decide if that's
I
okay or
didn't hear
not.
that. I didn't hear, so he made a motion for the ordinance and the resolution.
Yeah, he read it exactly. It says it's printed on the agenda.
Oh, then you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just
put
haven't.
it back off.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think you've
just
done it
going
both,
by-
right? I thought I had.
Okay, I was going by the staff report.
I know. When he started reading, I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, the resolution.
We've never done it that way, but that'd be great if you can just do it all in one motion.
Probably should do it separately, so maybe what I would like to do is, we'll treat the first one as an adoption of the ordinance, and we'll do a separate one for the resolution, because they are two
It's
separate
usually good
motions.
to do it because if there was ever a question of like it's good practice. So if you ever had just 3 approve it, but you can have 4 approve the title and summary, even if you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
technically do it that way.
Okay.
So I guess what I'd be looking for is a motion based on what the mayor just read.
Okay, can I get a motion based on that?
So moved.
Say so moved, yeah. All right, got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that's unanimous.
And I'll just say real quick, we're looking for a motion to approve resolution number 26-40, authorizing publication by title and summary pursuant to Minnesota statutes 412.191, subdivision 4 of an ordinance, and to add humane pet store regulations in Mound City Chapter 129 zoning. So looking for a motion to approve.
Okay, we need a motion on that one too.
So moved.
I got so moved. And can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that's approved unanimously as well.
Okay, now we're good.
All right, we're good. All right, 8, no, new, old business, nothing. Number 9, new business, we got code of conduct. Thanks, Rita. Thanks, Sarah. Welcome back.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I apologize, I didn't introduce myself last time, but I'm Layla Meehan, the Deputy City Manager for the City of Mound. And tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about the code of conduct that you all have been discussing a few times in a work session. So just as a background on this item, the City Council asked for a code of conduct to be able to set some expectations for the City Council and for boards and commissions as well as volunteers. This was a council priority for you all in 2026. And over the course of 2 work sessions, the council reviewed example codes of conduct and directed staff to draft one to be formally adopted at a council meeting. So for people who are maybe hearing about a code of conduct for the first time, what does a code of conduct do? So codes of conduct prescribe explicit standards of behavior and provide for formal complaints, hearings, and censure. These can be applied to city councils as well as boards and commissions, any volunteer. You can think about this as anyone who is not staff or a contracted employee for the city. If you are going to enforce this, this is, and we think about like what is the purpose of a code of conduct, right? It has these kind of ethical standards, but what do we do if someone breaks it? So councils can remove board and commission members by a 4/5 vote of the council. I like to remind councils that this is, you as a council, you cannot recall public officials in a statutory city. So if one of you did something you did not really like, recalling you is not an option. But censure, which is a formal resolution stating that a council member has violated the city's ethical rules and expressing disapproval of their actions, is something that you can do. So what's typically included in a code of conduct? This is a great opportunity for boards and commissions and the council to be reminded of things that can cause challenges or legal challenges for councils. So open meeting law, which is the gathering of a quorum of any board and commission or the council. Conflicts of interest, so accepting a gift because you tell someone that you would vote a certain way, or even the appearance of a conflict of interest. I worked as a consultant before coming to working in a city, and I had someone who lived right next door to something, and then they would speak all the time about how much they hated it and how they were going to vote against it. And I would say, maybe we don't vote on that because you've said only how much you hate it. It also gives some guidance on how to work with staff or the public, how to use social media, how to interact with the media, so journalists or newspaper, Care 11, whoever that is that might come and ask you for a comment or a quote, and then the use of city logos or city branding for your personal use. All of these things are addressed in the code of conduct example that was provided within the packet. I don't have that every word of that code of conduct in my slide deck, but these were the topics that we discussed as a group and that the council identified as being very important to them. And so I think that in the bullet points that are within the code of conduct before you tonight, these are all really well captured. Again, I think the question is always, what happens if someone violates the code of conduct? So I think I wanted to walk you all through the part of this policy that does sort of have some consequences. Members agree to hold themselves and each other accountable, and when there is a suspected violation of either the law or this policy, any member may file a written complaint with the city manager alleging a violation has occurred. So whether this is a board and commission member or you as a council, you may say, I believe, council member Doe said, accepted, free smoothies for a year to let the smoothie shop come in. You would make that complaint with the city manager. The complaint must contain supporting facts for the allegation. I saw the council member drinking the smoothies, walking down the street in plain sight. I have pictures of the smoothies, and so I'm sending those to the city manager. Upon receipt of the written complaint and maybe the pictures of the smoothies, the city manager is going to engage the city's legal counsel to review the complaint and offer an advisory opinion or initiate an investigation. So this can be as simple as, we have lots of records and proof that the council member took a lot of smoothies, or maybe it's more severe, an allegation of sexual misconduct or use of the city logo inappropriately, saying your opinion, as one thing that we talked about a lot was the differentiation between what is your opinion as a resident versus what is your opinion as you hold office appointed or elected. And so we may utilize an outside investigator to investigate and initiate an investigation or do that internally. The city council may then hold a hearing within 30 days of that complaint being received by the city manager. And then that is, or, beyond, kind of on your own volition, right? So if one of you felt like there was this, misconduct amongst you, or you observed it as a liaison to a board and commission, you may bring that forward and say, we'd like to have a conversation about this. The member accused must have the opportunity to be heard at such a hearing. And then during the review, the council shall give consideration to the individual member's constitutional and statutory rights. So this is the sticky part. I think a lot of the things we talked about was social media use, logo use, interacting with the media. Again, there are things that you as a resident may say, even if they're in conflict with the way that other members of your body vote, or that advisory commissions may disagree with the choices that you've made, or you disagree with the choices they've made. There is, some First Amendment rights, and Attorney Landsman spoke about that during our work session. He could add some color to this if you'd like him to, but we do want to give that opportunity for someone accused of misconduct to have that chance to speak on their own behalf. And then if after hearing and review, you do find that someone has made a violation of the law, the smoothies were drank, and we voted in favor of the smoothie shop, for a council, again, you may choose to censure a council member. For boards and commissions, they are appointed at your volition. You can, with the right amount of votes, remove someone that you think is not adding positively to a board or commission, or ask a volunteer not to return. So, I think that this is the meat of the policy, right? There's a lot of things that we're asking people to do or not do. We had a lot of conversation about it does have a signature page, but if I don't want to sign it, you don't have to sign it. No one is going to force you to sign it. But as you adopt this policy, you are still having everyone follow this policy. So signature does not mean that, no signature doesn't mean you don't have to follow it. All board and commission members will be provided a copy of this and walked through it, and the chance to ask any questions about the code of conduct. So with that, I can't answer any questions. Otherwise, I would propose a motion to approve the code of conduct as it's written before you.
Does council have any questions?
No, I really dig the smoothie analogy.
Listen, I could go for a smoothie now.
One
Yeah,
question.
smoothie receipts are being investigated.
If someone chooses not to sign, is their refusal to not sign provided, is that public information as to who signs and who doesn't sign?
Yeah, Councilmember Pugh, that's a really interesting and tricky question that I would maybe defer to Attorney Landsman on, is that it's, is it personnel data, whether or not someone chooses to sign or not sign? They're not employees, so perhaps not.
So is the question of whether, personnel data is it's under the statute, there's a laundry list of those items that are considered to be public data, everything else is considered to be private. So I would have to look to see if it falls under one of the laundry lists of those items that are considered to be public. If it isn't, then it's going to be private data to that individual.
Yeah, Councilmember Pugh, if I may, I think that typically these are documents that are signed in public. So we discussed in previous work sessions that we would likely do some sort of training for boards and commission members in 2027, especially in anticipation of maybe having a few new council members in 2027 as well, making sure that people come on board and feel like they're ready and prepared to be in the seats in front of me right now. And so I think that may be something that would resolve itself, that if someone started to make a stink in a onboarding that they didn't want to sign it, they're not going to be one-on-one with myself or Jesse. It's going to be in a public forum where we're asking everyone to sign it.
And I think the point that you made earlier was that if you don't sign it, you still have to follow the policy if you want to serve in that role.
All right. Does someone want to make a motion to approve it?
I can do that. I would like to make a motion to approve the code of conduct.
I got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 10, we got announcements, comments and reports from council members.
Well, today I've stopped by to get my packet at City Hall, and I noticed this really kind of intriguing little magazine. Did everyone get a copy of it? And so when I started reading, I thought, oh, this is great. And then I looked at how they characterized Mound in many of the things, and I would suggest that, I don't know if we as a council or a city might want to just give them some pointers that next time they consider. Like in parks, they talk about Surfside and the dog park being those are the two parks, Orono's Dog Park and Surfside. And Surfside is not a dog park, but it kind of infers that it is, versus talking about it being an innovative park that has intergenerational components. So I think that there are just subtle things, like for Mound, they said, basically, people in Mound are seeking a better school system, but the school isn't called Mound anymore. So, just some things like that. And I assume is it the Laker that put this together?
I think so, yeah.
I think they put it together.
I don't think they have reached out to ask.
I know, but I think we might want
Yeah.
to, because it's attractive, and it's kind of nice, and, you read through it about the different components of the city and stuff like that. But some of the things are just a little bit off, and they're not really highlighting our best assets. So I think we need to share with them those corrections.
Cool.
So that was my comment.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
We don't have anything.
Right here?
I don't have anything new.
Right. Are we on for next meeting or not? Do we know yet or not?
As of right now, it's kind of up to the council. We don't have anything prescribed just yet.
Okay. Is it something where we're gonna wait and then you're gonna cancel it if there's nothing, or are we just gonna?
That's kind of what we did last time, was sort of prep the council to not expect one unless you hear from us.
Okay.
So I think that that's probably a fair route right now.
Okay. So if you get some kind of issue that we have to be here, okay. Other than that, you're up. I'm gone the next meeting.
Oh, I thought you were asking if we were having or not having.
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone. This is my annual that I can't be here, so.
Yep.
Either you're up or,
Oh.
like a couple times ago,
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't have a lot of stuff to talk about, so
Right.
you guys don't need to meet if there's nothing to do, I guess. but-
Okay.
Cool. All right, so just email everybody if we're on.
Yeah, that's what's,
Yeah.
that's fine, then we'll just do that.
So
I
that would
would
be
say-
June, what is it?
That's June 9th,
Right?
9th at 6, yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as like a workshop, then that we, that would be pushed till like the second meeting in June, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Just for anybody that watches this or listens to it, Bartlett is gonna be closed from June 1st to July 10th in front of Surfside Park, so if you're gonna go through there, there's gonna be a detour. It's gonna be terrible, but, we gotta do it, so.
Not worse than getting out here on all the other roads.
Well, I mean, look at Hennepin County, they're shutting down roads.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
road construction in summer, it is what it is. And this is something we have to do. There's no way around it, so.
Yeah.
It'll be fun for 6 weeks, but
And the Gillespie Center's closed the first week of June.
they are
Because
closed.
they're having new heating system and
Oh.
cooling systems put in.
Nice.
So they're just shutting down for the week while they have all that work done.
Okay. All right, so, do you have anything you want to say?
I only am going to mention that after the adjournment, we have
Yeah.
a closed session.
Okay, so I'll just read that then?
Yes.
Or you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read it.
Okay, so we're done with 10, so number 11,
I'm modifying it, that's why.
what's that?
I'm modifying it,
Oh, yeah,
that's
go
why.
ahead.
So,
Yep.
we're looking for a motion to adjourn pursuant to the Minnesota statutes 13D.05 subdivision 3B to a closed attorney-client privilege session pertaining to potential employment litigation. The need for absolute confidentiality is necessary to discuss litigation strategy. that may impact public funds.
Got it. All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, we're adjourned.